Hello, bookish friends of the internet. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Drew, and this is Drew's Ambitious Reading. And for today's video, I am very excited. It is time to talk about my March TBR, which, if you don't know, TBR stands for To Be Read. So this is my To Be Read pile that I want to get to in the month March. I told myself I wasn't going to make a TBR pile for myself because I'm planning on reading 22 books in the month of March. And that's for the Spring Into Reading a Readathon. That video will be up before this one, so I'll link that up above in the cards up here or down in the description box below. There's 22 reading prompts for that readathon that I'm participating from my friend Melaine, Clint, and Kaylani. That's happening throughout the whole month of March, so all that information will be in that video, so go check that out. But for today's video, it's my March TBR, and as always, it's very big. I have 3 big books on my TBR, but one of them is not here yet. One of them is a pre-order, and it's also my book club pick for Crew Reads. If you don't know, I have a book club called Crew Reads, where we read 1 book per month, sometimes 2, depending on mine and Charlie's mood. But yeah, for March, let's just jump into it. I have some book tours that I'm doing, so I want to talk about those. So let's just jump into it. So speaking of book tours, I have a full series I need to get to in March, but I'm not going to talk about those yet because I do have 2 other books that I've signed up for, and they're coming through Disney Books. So thank you in advance, Disney Books, for sending them my way, even though I don't have them yet. Sorry, I'm dropped. So the first one that I don't have yet, but hopefully I'll get it soon, is called 3 Drops of Blood by Gretchen McNeil. I was so happy and shocked to see that Jamie from Rockstar Book Tours was doing another tour for Gretchen McNeil. I sadly gave her previous book, Dig 2 Grays, a 3-star rating, so I hope I love this one more. And then I think, if I remember correctly, the next book that I'm getting is the... Oh, I can't remember what it is at the top of my head. Editing me will come in because, like I said, one of my other books isn't here. But I have 2 books coming from Disney this month, so that's one of them. And then the other one, I'm brain farting on what the title is. But I do, like I said, have a full series I would need to read and review for. And my book review is due March 10th, so I really need to get started on this series. And that is the Belle series by Danielle Clayton. I was very excited when Jamie messaged me and asked me if I wanted to be part of this tour. She saw through all my wrap-ups and like TBRs that she knows I love Danielle Clayton as an author and just as a person as well, because I met Danielle Clayton at Y'all's last year. Oh my god, I'm not thinking today. But I got the new pretty covers of the Belle series by Danielle Clayton. So I have the Bells. I have The Everlasting Rose. And then I have the newest book in the installment, and that is The Beauty Trials by Danielle Clayton. So I really don't know too much about the Belle series in general. I know it's set in New Orleans, and the Bells are like revered for control, beauty. I don't know, it just sounds really good. I love Danielle Clayton's writing, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen in this trilogy. So yeah, a full trilogy is on my TBR this month, and I feel like I can get to these because these are super shorter than my other books that I'm about to show you. So hopefully I'll get to all 3 of these, if not at least the first book in March, and I'll be happy with that. Next book I did start it this weekend, so I'm going to carry it over to March, and that is Song of Silver, Flamelight Night by Amelia Wen Zhao. This is the first book in a brand new duology by this author. I am very excited to read this one. This is our Reads book club pick for the month of February. But again, I started this book a little later than everyone else because I had a bunch of ambitious plans, as always. But in March, I definitely need to finish this soon because I don't know when exactly, but I think sometimes middle of March, we're going to have an author interview with Amelia Wen Zhao on my Instagram. So if you're not following me there, I'll leave a link to that in the description. Please go follow me. We are almost close to like 2,000 followers, so which is crazy. Anyways, I'm very excited to read this. Well, I've already started this. I'm literally like 3 chapters in, so not that far in, but from the first 3 chapters that I've read of this book, I feel like I would love this. So I'm hoping to read and annotate this one while filming the vlog that I'm in the middle of making. So yeah, very excited and cannot wait to see what this one has in store for me. This is a YA fantasy that deals with Asian American culture or Chinese culture. I'm so sorry if I said the wrong one. But it says, once Lane had a different name. Now she goes by one of the Elantran colonizer gave her when they invaded her kingdom, killed her mother, and outlawed her people's magic. She spends her nights as a song girl in Hong Kong, a city transformed by the conquerors, and her days scavenging for what she can find of the past. Anything to understand the strange mark burned into her arm by her mother in her last act before she died. Like, that sounds really intriguing, and trigger warnings for death of a parent, obviously, and I think there's like found family and a hero's journey quest type of thing going on in here. So very excited for this, and hopefully I'll love it. Speaking of my book club pick, I was supposed to read this book in February, but I never started it for some reason. I think it's because I'm just too scared to start it because of how massive it is. But that is none other than Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I'm very nervous to get to this book. And the reason why is because A, it's so big, and B, I'm supposed to be reading the prequel, A Day of Fallen Night, for my book club. A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon will be here on Tuesday for me, so I'm very excited to see what that beautiful hardcover edition will look like in person. But yeah, I'm scared because this is not only like 800 pages, but the prequel is also like 900 pages, I think. So I need to read both Priory of the Orange Tree and A Day of Fallen Night in March. So if any of you guys would love to buddy read this with me, please let me know because I really need motivation to read it. And while I'm also holding this book up, I'm going to start going into my main TBR. And my main TBR has 5 challenges. So if you don't know, I do monthly challenges for myself now. So like these Owl Crate cards that we got in their Owl Crate boxes a while back. For this one, it says read a book with fictional animals in it. And of course, a dragon is super fictional. So I am going to count it as a fictional animal. So I'm nervous and excited to start this. And hopefully 2023 would be the year I start this book series. And then going into my other books I want to read, my other 4 challenges. Challenge number 2 is for Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. I finally have this book in my possession. I am very excited to read this. This is one of my most anticipated reads for the whole year. You'll see this in my February book haul, which I'm filming after this. But I just want to put this in my TBR because it's being used for read a book with immortal characters in it. And they said, a few of my friends said like vampires and werewolves and demons count for immortal characters. And I was like, I know the perfect book I'm going to use for, and I'm using this. Thank you again to my friend Taylor for buying me a copy of this book. I cannot wait to buddy read this with you. This is another book that is very chunky, but also one that I'm excited about. And I'm hoping to read and annotate this one in the month of March as well. The next book I have, I don't remember the prompt for. It's for Fictional Parents, and I started this one last year but never finished it for some reason. And so I knew there was fictional parents in here because once you see this book, you'll understand why. But that is Almost There by Farhar Roken. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. This is the newest book in the Twisted Tales series, and like I said, I did started this last year. I literally got to chapter 4, page 43. I don't know why I never finished it because I was really enjoying it. So I'm gonna have to restart this one in March. But yeah, I'm hoping I can pick this one back up and hopefully I'll love it. And then I think the newest Twisted Tale novel comes out in April, so I won't have to wait too long for another installment. Next two books I have are for my main TBR for like my reading prompts that I have. For this one, I have Demon in the Woods by Leigh Bardugo. This is for the prompt of reading a graphic novel. Again, I started this one earlier this year, but don't know why I never finished it since it's such a short read. I love everything by Leigh Bardugo. You guys know she's an auto-buy author for me now, so whenever she has a new book coming out, I will read it. I still need to get to Hellbent. I don't know when I'm going to get to Hellbent, but hopefully I'll get to that soon. But yeah, I'm going to read this in the month of March, which is absolutely fitting because season 2 of Shadow and Bones comes out March 16th, and I'm so excited to watch that. Next book I am reading for a book that is set in space, and it's not a Drew's ambitious reading video without mentioning my favorite fandom ever, and that is Star Wars. And for that, I am going to be reading Star Wars Padawan by Kiersten White. I finally managed to get this into a TBR because if you know, back in October, I think, I made a 5-star prediction list of 7 books that I think will be 5-star reads for me. I'll leave that up above or down below as well. This one is obviously set in space because it's Star Wars and it's set in space. It's very obvious. I have this on my 5-star prediction list because I feel like I would just love it. I love Kiersten White's writing. I think, I don't know if she's considered an auto-buy author for me because I do own almost all her books now, but I would say she's getting up there as an auto-buy author. So very curious to see what this is about. I know we follow a young Obi-Wan Kenobi as he's going through his Padawan training, and I think this takes place in between episode 1 and 2, so that would be very exciting to go back and see what's happening in this world. So I just can't wait to read this. I had this on my shelf since it came out last year in July, and I just never got around to reading it till now. So hopefully this will be a 5-star read for me. And then finally, I have 6 books left on my TBR to show you. One of them I actually need to go get the other book for. So I don't know who runs this account, but there's an account called TBR Challenge Knockout that I don't know who runs it, but I'll leave their account down below as well. So everything I mention in the video will be down in the description. But there's monthly TBR challenges they do each month, so I'll have to read them off to you. So like the challenges for March are starts with books title that starts with an E or an F, a book with secret identity / birthright, read a book by a female author, read a book with gold on the cover, and read a book with a dog in it. So for title that starts with E or F, I picked The Empress of Times by Kylie Baker. Even though this doesn't technically start with E, I'm counting it. I'm just gonna ignore the word the and just do Empress of Times, just because that's what Goodreads has it under. And this is a second and final book in this duology. The first book was called Keeper of Night, and I really love that word. I gave that first book a 4 stars, so I was very excited to see that there was a sequel to this. And I want to wrap up this duology in March, and hopefully I will be able to. And I just hear nothing but amazing things about how this series wraps up. So yeah, I just can't wait to see what happens in here, and hopefully I will love it. And then for a book that's written by a female author, I picked Roshani Chakshay for that prompt, and I picked The Last Tale of the Flower Bride obviously by Roshani Chakshay. This is Roshani's first debut adult fantasy novel, and this is from Book of the Month. You'll also see this in my February book haul. My February book haul is like super small this month. Again, I don't know too much about this. The synopsis here says sumptuous, gothic-infused story about a marriage that is unrevealed by dark secrets, a friendship cursed to the end in tragedy, and the danger of believing in fairy tales. The breathtaking adult debut from the best-selling author Roshani Chakshay. So yeah, I'm super excited for this. This was one of my oh my god, slow down. This was one of my most anticipated reads for the year, and I'm happy Book of the Month chose this as one of their add-ons, so I cannot wait to read this, and hopefully I'll love this one. And then for a book with secret identities, I had a struggle with this prompt. Secret identity, gold on the cover, and dog in it. The last three prompts I'm going to talk about, I had troubles with. But I did a Google search for the like secret identity prompt, and I found out through that Google search that Sisters of the Snakes by Sasha and Serena Nanu has a secret identity trope in it, and I just love that trope. It's so fun to read about, and when I saw this on the list, I was actually very excited and happy that it was, because this is a book I've been meaning to read for quite a while now. I know book 2 is already out, so if I want to, I can binge read this duology this month. Also, this cover is just gorgeous. I love that Owl Crate did it completely different. But yeah, this is an Owl Crate edition, so if I do read it, I'll get another Owl Crate book off my TBR, so I'm very excited for that. I really don't know too much about this one. It says, Sister of the Snakes, where magic, forbidden romance, and a looming war, and 2 lost sisters awaits. And it says, Graya and Reyna were born out of a desire to see 2 brown twins on the page, wielding magic and discovering the bonds of sisterhood. So it just sounds so good. I cannot wait to read this, and I actually currently have the audiobook for this one checked out on my Libby account, so hopefully I'll get to this in the month of March. And then for a book with dogs on the cover, I don't know where my hardcover edition of this book is at the moment, because my stack of books is a little messed up over here. But I do remember I have an arc of this that my friend Charlie sent this my way. But I'm going to read Take Me Home Tonight by Morgan Matson. This, obviously, if you can see, kind of hard. Right there's a dog on the cover. I was like, there's a dog on the cover. I know she usually has dogs in her books. So I was very happy when I thought of this one. I was like, oh yes. And I haven't even read a contemporary book in a while, so I'm nervous for that. But hopefully I'll love this one. I loved everything else by Morgan Matson that I've read. I have this one and 2 other books by her that I haven't read yet, so hopefully I'll love this one. It says 2 girls, 1 night, 0 phones. Kate and Stevie's best friend theater kids, polar opposites, have snuck away from the suburbs to spend a night in New York City. They have it all planned out. They'll see a play, eat at the city's hottest restaurant, and have the best night ever. What could go wrong? So it just sounds so fun, and definitely feel like a springtime read. And then for a book with gold on the cover, I actually have a book that I found, so hold on. My copy of this book is due back at the library March 15th, so hopefully I'll read this sooner than later. But that is the Everstorms by Amanda Foody. This one is kind of hard. It kind of looks like brown more than gold, but I have one of my friends, Jeff, from my Queer Reads Book Club group chat. They said that this kind of looks like gold, and it kind of does now that I have it on camera, so hopefully I'll read this. This is the 3rd installment of the Wild Lord series by Amanda Foody. I read 1 and 2, loved book 1, was a little disappointed by book 2, so I'm hoping I will love this one. And then I think book 4 comes out in like 2024, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll get to this, because I've actually been reading my library books for the first 2 months of 2023 so far, so I hope to continue that trend. in March and April. And finally, getting down to the last 3 books on my TBR. I have my 3 books that I picked out from my TBR jar. Every month I go to my TBR jar and I pick out books. I think the jar is actually behind. I don't know why that stopped when I moved, you guys, but I use this A Sky Beyond the Storm TBR mug for my TBR jar, and it has a bunch of, like, every single book that I have on my physical TBR is in this jar. So every month I pick out 3 books, and if I get to them, I get to them. If I don't, I don't. But I'm actually really happy and kind of excited, I guess, to see if I will get to these. So these are the 3 books I picked. So the first one I picked out of my TBR jar. I'm very excited. This was a book I meant to read last year but never got to it, and that is I'm the Girl by Courtney Summers. This is the same author who wrote Sadie, and to say I love Sadie is, like, kind of weird to say because it's such a hard topic to read about, but I'm nervous to read about this one too because I hear this one, it has some mixed reviews out. But lately, ever since I read The Dead in the Dark and 9 Liars last month in January, I've just been looking for more YA thrillers, and I actually have quite a few on my bookshelf that I need to get to, so I'm hoping this will be the Kickstarter of reading more YA thrillers. So this was the first book I picked from my TBR jar, and hopefully I'll love this one because I really loved Sadie by this author. Next book that I picked out from my TBR jar, I meant to read this in February, but obviously I never got to it, and I'm actually going to be buddy reading this with my friend Sydney. Hi Sydney, if you're watching this. I'm going to be buddy reading The Depths by Nicole LaPensance. Something about this cover is just so beautiful to look at, and this was pulled out of my TBR jar, so I was very excited to see, because this is also another YA thriller that is set on a deserted island. What would you do if you were on a deserted island? I honestly don't know what I would do. I would be lost and confused. But yeah, last month I picked this for one of my reading prompts that I never got to, so I'm hoping I'll get to this one in the month of March. And finally, the final book on my March TBR is Courting Darkness by Robin Lefevers. I don't know if I'll actually get to this in March because I found out this is in the same world as the Grave Mercy trilogy, and I have not read that trilogy yet. So I do own it. I do own Grave Mercy and Dark Triumph. I just don't own the finale of that trilogy. But I do own Courting Darkness and then Igniting Darkness, which is the sequel to this one. So I might read this in March, or I might pick a new one. But this is set in the same world as the Grave Mercy series by Robin Lefevers. So I don't know if I need to read that trilogy first in order to read this, or vice versa, or just read them separately and enjoy both of them. But yeah, this is a YA fantasy that's set in like 1800s, I think, or something like that. I'm not too sure exactly what year, but yeah, my friend just actually got me this book, and I actually think she got me Igniting Darkness as well, because I think she had like both of these books on her bookshelf and she was unhauling them. So thank you, Jess. I'll leave your Instagram account down below, but I cannot wait to read this. Hopefully I don't have to read the other trilogy before reading this one. Whew. So there you have it. Those are all the books I'm planning to read in the month of March. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, turn your notification on so don't miss any new videos coming from me every Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And I will talk to you guys down in the comments below. Let me know what you are excited to get to in the month of March. Are you participating in my book club that I'm running? If not, you should. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will talk to you guys down in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day or night or not. The choice is yours, and happy reading. Bye guys.